presents his idea to the other officers. He says that the scientists have invented at their prime and revive them in the time of need. They have chosen Joe required a woman for the experiment, but they didn't have a perfect fit in the military together. But it makes everyone in the room uncomfortable. He ends the presentation. The officials present in the room aren't allowed to share the information with anyone. Wanting to reveal that she is a prostitute, Rita says that she is a painter. The scientists know what they are doing. He tells her they will only be inside for a year. Collins is arrested as part of an attempted prostitution ring. Because of the scandal, the military base is closed, and the building, they're even worse for mankind. Humans begin to evolve into engineering, and science will be able to correct this trend of evolution. But they're doing God's work. In the meantime, the population explodes. Garbage disposal. So the garbage has been stacked for centuries, with no causes Joe's hibernation pod to end up in a random house. Joe gets the stranger in his house and continues watching weird shows on TV, the Kardashians. He only gets up to ask Joe not to make a noise, refusing to Joe, and he says to himself, so much has changed in just a year. Grunts. Joe is able to understand them, but when he speaks like his normal self, he goes to the reception and tells the receptionist he is from the army. Confused, he goes to drink some water from a water fountain, but it supplies the thing they use for toilets. Then, he goes to the diagnostic area, where a disgusted Joe completes the procedure and is sent to a doctor. Joe's questions about his health, with phrases like kick ass, 5 written on the bill. He finally realizes that he has actually been inside. Meanwhile, the doctor freaks out because Joe doesn't have a citizen tattoo, that Joe has woken up to a world in crisis. The economy is in deep, won a bunch of Oscars, including Best Screenplay, only to stare at someone's Frito Pendejo, the guy that Joe met first. Frito makes fun of him. At last, the judge declares him guilty and sentences him to jail. Her for $2,000 to contact him. Just then, she is approached a tattoo that makes them scannable. The machine asks his name, but then he is taken to an aptitude and IQ test and asked questions. After that, he is taken to the prison. He finally begins to realize that an inmate has ran away, and the police chase him down the streets. Joe asks Frito's help in getting to one. Frito doesn't agree to help Joe, but Joe tricks. Just then, the police knock on the door, looking for Joe. The two runaway will come looking for the money she owes him, still oblivious that he is already, and they get out of it. Right after, the police approach the car and fire at it. Joe then takes the two to Costco, which is now the center of all trades, accidentally scanned again, and the whole place is alerted of a criminal's presence instead of prison. There, a confused Joe meets the president test Joe took in prison, surprised everyone because he had the highest score, the smartest man in the world. Everyone then goes to the House of Representatives. He also promises to pardon Joe's prison time if he solves making them believe that he is in fact smart. Then, Joe's supposed to be grown. He also asks them to get Rita because she might be able to using the map. But his plan fails when he sees that Frito's map to start using water instead of Brondo. The secretaries think his idea. Joe doesn't know that the energy drink has caused salt to develop over time. But soon, Brondo's stock drops to 0 because of the decreased of the United States. The news announces that Joe is taken to court. Criminal is chased by a large monster truck in an arena as an audience cheers for to go to the time machine with Frito. The rehabilitation is broadcasted. Then, Rita notices a rose plant growing outside. She realizes that punishment would be pardoned. Meanwhile, Joe is still trying to save his life and takes over the control panel. Frito finally gets to the field and films the crowd, making the crowd erupt in cheers. Now, everyone is at a frat party and the two say their final goodbye. But before Joe leaves, the president calls him on. One person calls the time machine a stupid ride anyway. Frito takes elected as the president of the United States, and Rita becomes his wife, with Rita, who are said to be the smartest kids in the world. Subscribe.